guys, it's Jen, and I just wanted to really quickly show you what my plans are for my layout today before I get started here. I've shown these before, but I just wanted to show you again. I got these page planners from the Happy Life shop, and I'll link to that in the description below. But I love it because I draw out my page plans often, and so this gives me a place to do that. And there's 12 little squares, so each one is an inch, which is helpful to me also for measuring things, if I ever measure things, which I don't usually, but if you are a measuring kind of person, it's nice for that. But this is the layout that I'm going to create today, or sort of the layout that I'm going to create today. I've got a photo with a bunch of layers behind it, some paper here, a strip here, and then maybe some open space. And these little circles, I'm going to use these awesome tissue paper circles that we got in the Felicity Jane kit for May, which is called, I just forgot, Just Saying. And so that's kind of where I'm starting off, and I just wanted to show you that before I get started here. So I'll go ahead and put you on fast forward now. Okay, so I am going to pick a few of the papers that I think will work with the sketch that I showed you at the beginning, and I'm pulling, I've mostly just pulled out the papers from the Just Saying May kit, and I really love that chevron, so I'm going to try to work that in somewhere. And I am going to end up cutting this like bright pinky red colored paper for a main chunk on my layout, and it's about 3.5 inches maybe. It's not quite 4 inches. Well, maybe it's 4 inches, I can't remember. And this little striped paper is one of the branding strips, and I love to use those as borders, so I'm going to use that as well. And I like that it brings all of the colors of the kit in. So I thought I was going to use this craft colored background because I'm trying to get away from my standard white background, but I'll end up changing it. And I thought it would be nice to use this paper bag as kind of a layer behind my photo, and I just folded it up, and I kind of got that idea from Missy Whitten. I have been enjoying her videos a lot lately, and she kind of folds up vellum behind her photos, and I really love that, and so that's where I got the idea for this. And before I started this layout, I knew that I wanted to use a bunch of stamps because the stamps are maybe my favorite part of the Felicity Jane kits, and I haven't used them enough, so that is my plan. And I pulled out this polka dot paper, and I'm going to use it as a layer behind my photo. And so this is like a go-to for me. You've probably seen me do it so many times before, where I'll put kind of a layer to anchor my photo. In this case, I feel like the layers on the right of the page kind of could have anchored my photo, but I just think it's a nice resting place for my title, and you'll see me do that here. And now I'm just playing with some of these tissue paper circles, and I really love these. Like, I'm gonna have to make some for myself. They're just fun, and I like how thin they are. They're translucent. You can layer them up and get interesting combinations of colors, and I just really, really loved them. So I'm going to use a bunch of those on the layout, and I'm trying to think of a way that I can incorporate a little bit more color without getting too busy. And so that's why I kind of slipped that paper into the bag on the right hand side of the photo there. And now I'm going to go through these awesome acrylic alphabets. They're a frosted acrylic, so they're not completely see-through. And I was thinking for the title that I wanted it to say "So Us," but it just looks like Souse, and I didn't want to use that word. So I'm going to play around for a minute to see what my title will be. And so I thought right here, maybe I would use the title "How We Roll" and do "This Is How We Roll." The photo is a picture of me pulling a face and my daughter kind of hiding part of her face, and that is classic us. I try to make her take a selfie with me. She tries to hide her face, and I pull a face. And it's just one of those classic Mally and me photos. So my daughter's name is Malia. I have lots of nicknames for her. Mally is one of them. Anyway, I pulled this happy, it's like a foam die cut word, and it's a glitter, a gold glitter. So how can you go wrong with that? And I'm going to choose the title Happy Face instead. And I spaced the letters so that they would fit, so that the P's in happy would kind of fit in between the letters. So the word face is a little bit more spaced out than I normally do, but I really like the way that it looks. And I really, if you've watched my videos, again, you know that I like to kind of nestle things together. I feel like it gives it more purpose, and that everything seems to belong more when you do it that way, rather than it feeling like they're just thrown on. So in classic Jen style, once again, I am mounting my photo on white. I'm going to do a really thin border this time so that I can see a lot of that paper bag behind my photo. Just wanted it to pop out a little bit more, and I really like it. So if I like it, I'm going to keep doing it, maybe on every photo if I feel like it. I put a little bit of foam tape behind the right side because that fold was just lifting the photo just a little bit, and it wasn't going to stay stuck down. And now I am going to pull out my Distress ink, my beloved Tattered Rose Distress ink. It's a beautiful soft pink, and it kind of matches the color of those lightest pink circles there. And I'm just going to smush a little bit on some packaging, spritz it with some water, and kind of rub it together to get the color going, and then just lay it down on my paper. And I'm going to do a little bit above and below where the photo and title are going to go. And I just pull my photo over periodically to see if I've got it in all of the places that I want it. So just doing a little bit of that. And I love it the way it looks. And I should have maybe put down a little bit of gesso, but I didn't. And it looks fine. And I also wanted to do this because it helps that white polka dot stand out a little bit more on the white paper. So now I'm just going to start gluing things down a little bit. And then I decided that I wanted to kind of make that white paper look like it was part of the background just a little bit. And so I put some of that Tattered Rose ink on top of the white paper as well. And mostly what it did was it curled up that paper, but I like the way it ends up looking, so it's okay. And so I'm just moving my photo over slightly so that I can make sure that I have enough room for the word happy. And I kind of I don't want it to overlap the photo too much because my face is right there and we don't want anything covering up my face. So that's not really true, but it would be distracting. So I'm just making sure it fits on the paper without overlapping the photo too much. But I do want it to touch it a little bit because, again, I feel like that brings things together. So now I'm just figuring out how I want to place the word face and how it will look nice. And I really like the way that it kind of just nestles up in there. And I'm going to use some, I have in a fine line bottle. It's an 18 gauge. It's the yellow bottle right there to the bottom right. That is multi-matte medium from Ranger, and that works really well for anything that you think might squeeze out or see through because it's nice and matte, and so even if it squishes out the sides, you don't see it. And here I am going through some of the stamps. That one with the speech bubble is from the Just Saying kit. That's this kit, but I'm also using a bunch from past kits. I think I kind of pull out all of my Felicity Jane stamps and end up using phrases from all of them on this. So that stamp that I just put down says, "I kind of like ya." And I kind of really like that. And I'm going to put that little arrow stamp next to it. And that's from the April kit, I believe. And I just love those stamps. They're great quality and they're adorable. So it's our thing is what that stamp says. And like I said before, pulling those faces really is our thing. I have a lot of photos with my daughter where I'm pulling a face and she's hiding her face. And I'm just pulling out a bunch of different words that I think will work. And I'm just going to stamp them all over the layout. And I'm just using some archival black ink. And so that says my favorite, awesome. I'll end up stamping reasons to smile, XOXO, haha, we've got a good thing, I love you, amazing, and go girl. And like I said, I pulled out all of my different kit stamps and stamped them. And seriously, if you guys, even if you don't subscribe to the kit, she sells the stamps separately. You should check them out because they're awesome. So felicityjane.com. I really do love the stamps. That's what I squeal over every time. So, yeah, so I originally was just going to use a few of these, but I decided to stamp them completely up and down that line. And I really like the way that it looks. It's a fun way to incorporate a bunch of wording, so it becomes a design element. And rather than having a bunch of, to me, when I want to use a lot of words, it's nice to stick with a similar color and incorporate it into the design. So that's what I've done here. And I think it just works really nicely. It kind of reads as another stripe, even though it's not. And so now I am going to, I believe, think about where I want to put those. Oh, okay. First, this is from, I think the December kit. So it's a little bit old, but this is a washi tape and it's a gold glitter and I love it. And I ripped it in half. Again, another nod to Missy. She's really been inspiring me lately. So thank you, Missy. Anyway, so I ripped it in half and I'm going to put a little bit below the photo and a little bit at the top. And so, oh, and my video cut out and I didn't realize it, but here you can see that I've jumped forward. I put some of these, I put the circles down where I kind of wanted them, and now I'm using my tiny attacher to staple them on. So you can adhere these with like regular adhesives. The ones that are lighter are a little bit more see-through, and I would suggest maybe using like I have one of those little Xyron sticker makers, and those work awesome for something like this. It kind of turns them into like a thin washi tape, which is really cool. But in this case, I just decided to staple them. And I opened up my tiny attacher so I could poke the staples through and just put a piece of foam beneath it so that I could let the staples go into the foam. And now I'm folding them over on the back. So that's just a trick for you if you want to staple something in the middle of the page. At least if you have a tiny attacher. I went over to my typewriter and I typed up some journaling. And it just says, "This photo is so us. Mal hiding her face and me making a face. Classic. These faces are my happy place. It means we are having a good time together. When someone says, 'Give me your happy face,' this is it." So that's just what I described earlier. I think it's really important to document those kind of little quirks because they don't stick around forever. And those are the things that I love looking back on and remembering. And so it was just something important. It seems small, but it's important to me to get that in my album because it's one of my favorite things. So, although sometimes, admittedly, I'm annoyed that she won't just smile for a photo with me, but she's at that stage where she's kind of over it. I'm going to play around with where I want to put these strips. I can't remember if I said this or not, but I just typed them on some white cardstock and on my typewriter. But you could get the same look with a typewriter font on your computer as well. And so I thought maybe I'd put them down below the photo, and then in my sketch I had them right just to the right of the photo, but I didn't think that looked right either. So then I thought maybe at the top, and I don't like that either. I thought maybe I just need to overlap it so it gets incorporated like with the photo cluster a little bit more, but I don't like that either. So I'm gonna change my mind a lot about this. And ultimately, I end up going right underneath the title because I kind of feel like it's a continuation of the title, and I do that a lot where I'll put my journaling either right before or right after my title, and that just seems to work for me. So I'm just kind of staggering the lines of where like the line of text begins and ends, so that it's not completely lined up and that different phrases are a little bit spaced apart. And I just like that kind of random look. And so now, just as a finishing touch, I'm going in with some Heidi Swapp Black Color Shine. And that is going to, I think, complete the layout. Oh, I end up adding one more stamp, and it's the date stamp, and I end up adding it just in with those other black stamps. There's kind of a space between Reasons to Smile and Awesome, and so I thought that was the perfect place. So it doesn't like stick right out at you, but if you're looking, then you see the date. So, and that is going to complete the layout. I have lots and lots of, I keep lying. That's not going to complete the layout. I ended up adding just one more little bit of paper into that bag and then a flare that says You and Me. So that really is going to complete the layout. I have lots of close-up photos because I just really like the way that this one turned out. And I hope that you'll join me again for another process video. I will leave links below to where you can find my online scrapbook gallery. And if you have any questions, just leave me a comment. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.